Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to try something a little new. We are going to play Rey Vault, but we're going to play it with a bit of a twist because we're going to play it with a bit of a challenge. We're going to see how many times we can get the Purgle King out on the board. The Purgle King, if you don't know, is one of the... it's only rare from Legends of the Force. Here it is here. It's a 4/12 with Restore 4. When played, draw a card for each friendly unit with 7 or more remaining HP. It's a space unit. So when it comes out, it has a lot of heal. Let's see how many times we can get it out tonight. If you're new here, we play 10 games and we record our result. Now, Rey Vault, I don't think it won any PQs this weekend yet. We're halfway through the weekend. You can see a Thrawn Vault got in. This list is actually from this PQ, and it's Ysera's list. So Ysera was one of the creators for the original Rey Vault, and you can see here he had a run with this particular deck, and I was like, oh wow, he's running 3 kings. So let's give this deck a go. I think I've played 1 match with it so far. And his 2 losses, he went 4-2, but his 2 losses were to Rey's nemesis, which is Emperor Palpatine. So he kind of got some really bad matches. Everything else seemed to go okay. Alright, so let's jump in and see how we go. Alright, straight up we've got a Rey Green, but it's a Thrawn Green. But it's unlike the Thrawns that we play, which is the Data Vault. This one is using a Force one, so a Force base. So let's see what they've got in their deck. Now, the Dispatcher is really good as an opening turn play. So let's keep this, but let's keep the tech open as well. Like, we won't resource the tech in case we don't have a turn play, a second turn play. We just finished the PQ in Perth today. That is on the BDST, the baddest channel. I jumped on and did some commentating for the top cut, and it was taken out by a BDST member, a teammate, Luke, who took it out with Sabine ECL. Thibaut came top 4 with his revised Han 2 blue non-force throw. He's replaced the force throws with Carabast, and it seemed to do pretty well for him. Okay, not the greatest hand here. We don't want the Clone Deserters out. We really wanted something like even a Bright Hope or something to pick it back up. We can win this match by getting through the late stage and playing a lot of our U-Wings, Kelleran Becks, Lukes. But we will have to watch out for Vader in this matchup. Alright, so we've got a Karis on the other side. So it'll be interesting to see what this deck does, because let's play a unit from hand. We'll play a tech. So it only costs us 2 for the tech here. Alright, so he's going to play a Cobb Vanth. Alright, so let's play the R2. Do we want to resupply it? Yeah, let's take the resupply. He's going to get a lot of value out of that Cobb Vanth. Alright, so if we resupply up this turn, that means next turn we'll be at the Rivals 4. So let's go with that. Really have too much in our row that we can play out with while we're on this amount of resources. Alright, here comes the Cobb Vanth. I think we just do hit the Karis here. It can give -2/-2, but it's not going to kill any of our units. Alright, so let's hit into it. Seen a lot of Thrawn Green lately. I think it is a very, very good deck. Alright, we'll wait for our opponent to decide what he's going to do with his force token. And what did he take out? So he took out a Lothwolf. Here comes the assassin. Alright, so we'll resupply it. So he got a Lothwolf out, and what was the other thing that he got? A Director Chronic. Alright, so let's claim. We're at the 6 resource mark. Wow, we keep getting these clone deserters. It's not looking good. We need to get through to that next turn. We need to put an experience on here to take out the Lothwolf, but I think I'm just going to kill the assassin here. The Lothwolf can't attack. The Director Chronic can attack, but we've got to try and get our Rey flipped out here. Alright, so we're still in the first game here. He didn't get any card draw, but he got a Colvanth so far. It's interesting, the deck. Karis, Assassin, Colvanth. It's a different take on Rey Green. So far, I think, if I was to judge between the two, I think he's slightly ahead. But we have resourced one up. Alright, so let's jump out with Rey. He's taken the shield off Chronic. So we take out this Lothwolf. We do know that the Anakin will have a -6/-6 passive when played. Alright, still waiting on our opponent here. Okay. Alright, let's take out the Lothwolf. Give the experience to Rey. Alright, he plays a Chirrut, so let's claim. And we'll open up with a U-Wing. We might be able to get something to deal with that Chirrut. We did not. We got an Akbar, but that's only going to do 3 to it. Alright, let's go with that. What do we have in this deck that we could potentially get out of a U-Wing? I think we could get another Akbar. So let's go with that. Alright, so I think we can go Village Protectors. Village Protectors and then Bright Hope to pick up R2. Because we really need a card draw here. But yeah, this Chirrut is going to prove a little bit of a problem for us, unfortunately. Hopefully our opponent speeds their play up. Otherwise it's going to be a very long match, this one. So it's an interesting deck. I think it does really well in certain matchups. This is probably not a great matchup for it. Alright, we'll give the experience to the villagers. But yeah, you can see how much card advantage that Thrawn does get. It's quite a good deck. Alright, we'll claim. Not in a great spot here. Because we also know that Vader's going to come out at some point. And he's also got Anakin. If he has Anakin here, he can blank both units. And then push for a lot. Well, Barrage does a similar thing here. And I feel like we're kind of too far behind now. Yeah, so that's even more card draw, the Night Sisters. This deck needed like a faster start than we got. Alright, so we can sort of build up for a 3 damage, or I can just play the Walker. Alright, let's play just the units out here. We can play Obi-Wan next, and then play an Akbar. Alright, let's turn this chat off, make the screen a little bit bigger. This is how you get into timeout situations in a competitive environment, because it should take your opponent 15-20 seconds maximum for their turn, for their action, but you can see we are like going way beyond that at the moment. It's probably just about to get a warning. Alright, so we'll play the Obi-Wan there. Another barrage. Hey, All Things Fade, how are you going? We're trying a bit of a challenge tonight, trying to see how many times we can play the Purgle King out. But we're being bored to death at the moment by this Thrawn that is taking a bit of time to have their plays here. So we'll take out the Krennic there. Alright, so let's give the XP to the Akbar. He might trade it out with the Thrawn, or he may push base. Yeah, I feel that with a lot of slow towns, I start to think my internet drops sometimes. Yeah. The worst problem is when you're actually in a tournament and like they've got like one card sometimes, and they're like, I don't know, you're kind of waiting for them to decide on that one card. That they've only got one option, so I can understand maybe not wanting to make a mistake, but also at some point we need to move on and make sure we can get through the round. He's got a lot of card advantage here. He's 4 up on me here, so it's not looking good. He's probably got a power here that will take out the Reinforcement Walker. The thumb twiddlers only do that when I'm thinking of conceding or hoping on the next draw. Yeah, like I've conceded here. I've claimed, and if he's got a power, then it's a pretty easy turn. So he didn't have a power. Alright, so let's hit in the Chirrut. We can discard that one for 3. It's interesting, this setup though. He's got a bunch of the good units like Karis, Assassin. I assume he's got Tyrannus as well. I think we just play the blue leader in case he does have power. Kind of need like a Kelleran or something here, or a home one to try and pull us back a little bit. Otherwise we're gonna die a slow death here. I guess we can fell the Anakin. Alright, Mon Mothma is okay. Alright, let's hit the assassin, get our restore in. So we need something good out of Mon Mothma. We do have the fell. Okay, he's going to trade in. I think we're okay with that because we can just fell the Anakin here. What have we got in the row? We've got a tech. And we do have a reinforcement walker. Alright, so there's the power. We knew that he kind of potentially had a power. That's a good draw. We pick up the home one. And we can put an XP on Mon Mothma, or we can play a tech out and put an XP on the tech as well. Again, for the people that are just joining, the goal of All Things Fade says my entire day of games was slow death. Our goal is to try and play the Purple King as many times as we can across these 10 games. There's 3 in the list here, so let's see how we go. Alright, so he puts I think we're okay with that. What we can do is play a tech out, and we can put an XP on tech to take it out of range of the Vader in terms of health. Alright, another home one. So if he kills one of these, we can home one and bring Luke back, because we hit that magical number for home one is 12. When you play 12, you can play a home one for 8, and you can get a 5 discount on whatever you return. A 4 discount, sorry. We pay 4 and we get a 3 discount, which is 7. And that will allow us to take out this Vader here. Alright, so doesn't want us hitting the tech, so that's fine. We can drop out and drop a Luke to take out that Vader. Alright, then we should be able to just claim him. Alright, so what he gets? He gets a Maul out of the Owen Lars. I don't think we have any 8s. So we do. I've got a Reinforcement Walker. We can't get a Reinforcement Walker because it has to be heroic. So let's leave it at that. We'll hit Maul and restore for 3 plus 1, so 4. Alright, here comes Vader. Ambushed in. We're going to be able to do the exact same thing here. We'll keep our Mon Mothma because he's already put a shield on it. Alright, we'll get Luke again and take out Vader. Do we have any techs left? Not in our row. Alright, we have to be careful here for a Super Laser Blast. If we get a Super Laser Blast, we can home 1 to bring tech back. But first we would play a Village Protectors. Someone was talking the other day about Have we played a game where we've had like a chess stock clock where you can, when it's your go, record how long it takes? I think we have to be careful about playing the home one out here again, if he does have a super laser blast. Alright, old Dakar. Let's play the protectors. We'll play the farmer, and we can Akbar then for 5 and run Mon in. We can give an XP to the village protectors to make sure it survives the Snoke. Alright. That seems pretty good. So we can return a lot of stuff here, but not the reinforcement walker. We're slowly clawing ourselves back into this game. We were, at the start, a long way behind. Alright, I think we can just fell this one. And then potentially we can home one to get a tech back. We'll give an XP. Oh, we are out of resources there. Oh, should have hit with the farmer. He'll need a super laser blast here, and if he hits us with the blast, then we can Ewing. Have a look at his cards. He's already down to 10. That's how many cards he's drawn. 10 left in his deck. And we haven't seen a Purple King. That's the whole point of this deck, was to drop out the king. Right, let's hit base for 7. Alright, reinforcement walker. Not reinforcement. Ewing reinforcements play. We'll play out the Luke to take out the turret. And we'll drop the blue leader to take out more. We have Nelly restored all the way back. And there is the Purple King. We have yet to play him. If we dropped him down now, we would draw 3 cards. And we didn't get to draw him. I didn't get to play him there. So we start at 1-0 with 0 Purple Kings played. That's not a good hand. That's a better hand. Alright, so Ewing and the home one. We'll start with the Owen Lars and then turn 2 Village Protectors. It is sad. I had the Purple King. The whole point of this deck is to try and play it, and our opponent knew he was done for once it got close to the Purple King. Alright, we can put a Luke away. The good thing with Rey is that when you play, let's just ambush there. When you put things in the row, there's a chance that you can get them back. So they're not lost forever sometimes. Okay, I think that Owen goes. Alright, he puts Hera out so we can just fell that one. Alright, we'll keep pushing. Bright Hope is really good here. Because we can attack with Owen, Bright Hope, bounce it, and then play it back out. Okay, especially when they do that. All right, we'll drop the Owen back out. Probably don't need another Bright Hope. Now, he is playing the Petronarchy Arena, which means that his Obi-Wan comes out as a 5/7. Alright, let's give an XP to Owen here. That way, if he does hit it with Plo Koon, we can immediately blue leader. We've had a lot of situations today where we've been waiting on our opponent. If he does play the Obi-Wan, it is a bit of an issue. Yeah. I think we hit into the Razor Crest because we do want to play the blue leader. Alright, so he's going to hit an Owen, which means we'll get a nice Caloran for next turn. We can run into the Razor Crest. He's kind of keeping our lead a bit hostage here. So we could deploy down to the ground, but I think the Plo Koon just gets a really nice trade, so let's just leave it in the air for now. That way we can drop Rey out. We can hit into Obi-Wan. And at least this time we have our Luke to retaliate. I'm drawing quite a lot of cards here. We've got 3 7s and an 8. So plenty of options. Okay, so he runs in, so now we can Luke the Obi-Wan. He may respond with his own Luke and then run Hera into it. Right, he doesn't. Okay, he just fells it. We are okay with that. Alright, so we can play home 1 and return what, an Owen Lars. Doesn't seem that great, so maybe just the Luke to kill the Plo Koon, because it will hit for 6, that one, and then just push with the rest of the damage here. It's only a 26 health base. We're 10 away now. Yeah, he's claimed initiative here. There we go, we have the Purgle King. I think we just keep pushing. Alright, let's play the King. We draw a card and we can drop out an Owen here. Alright, the Purgle King finishes him off there. Restore 4 and 4 attack. Alright, so now we've got another Thrawn. We've already played, I think it might be the same Thrawn. Alright, keep. And maybe, was there a... I know there was a list that won the UK one, but it wasn't a Force one. So it doesn't look... let's go back to the tournament results. Okay, so Mon Mothma. Let's get a Walker into resupply and Spark. Alright, let's just keep all our low ones here. We'll get Blue Leader. Yeah, was there a Thrawn? A 4 space, because this is the same one I've seen a couple of times now. Alright, so let's claim. If we resupply, we can Blue Leader next turn. So maybe try that. Yeah, so we were looking to see if there's a Thrawn. There was a Thrawn Force at Middlesbrough, so maybe this is the one that people are starting to see. You can see here's all the Galactic since we started. This was me on the 13th of the 9th, and now you can see 2 weeks later, now we're starting to see some, we've seen 4 Data Vaults, so it's definitely a deck on the rise. Alright, so let's claim. Put the tech away. What we can do is pick up the Mon Mothma so that he can't get his trigger. And potentially drop down. Okay, we're fine with that. Right, he claims. So yes, as I was saying, there was a bunch more Thrawn Data Vaults, which is pretty cool. A Thrawn Yellow and a Thrawn Force, which is, you know, this is, I've seen this deck a couple of times now. Seems pretty good. Alright, so we can Blue Leader across to kill one. I think we just Moisture Farm to protect against the power. Alright, I think we Obi-Wan and Mon Mothma here. So this is it here, and this is, looks like what we're playing, because we've seen old Dakar. So someone they picked this deck up now. Alright, let's drop Mon Mothma out. Let's take a home one. That's an issue. I'll give an XP there. So what we've done, he's got 5 resources, so he's just going to skip his turn there. So we could see Vader come out here. Now he's got the Piet. We just couldn't kill it. Alright. We didn't see it, but we did see an Anakin, which is probably just as bad. Alright, we'll make sure we can kill this Piet off here. So, did this list have a Piet? No, so this is a different list. Alright, so we've handled the Piet unit, so let's Luke out that Anakin there. Alright, so let's claim. So next time we can kill the Thrawn because it took 1 damage. We need to try and get up to that 12 resources mark. I'll get rid of the timely. Alright, so we'll take Thrawn out. Our goal is to try and outgrind this Thrawn if we can. Via the home ones, Keller and Bex and that. We have to watch out for things like the Avenger, things like the Mauls coming in, and also things like the Darth Vader that is time lead in. Alright, Bounty Hunter's Quarry. Let's play an Obi-Wan to provide a Sentinel. He may have a Anakin here. If he does, we'll play the R2 and fell it. Overwhelming Barrage. Okay. A lot of them playing this Bounty Hunter Quarry at the moment. Alright, so we may as well kill the Cobb because he has already used his... We killed Thrawn, so he can only activate it once. So let's do that. So it is interesting looking at Sweet Competitive Hub each weekend once the results start rolling in. So we can see a Han Blue one as well. A Gar Saxon Nabat Village. Alright, so let's claim. This is a little unfortunate, the Sage, but... let's get rid of the R2. Right, we'll hit base. Alright, so what can we do? We can blue leader and then potentially play a tech out. That seems okay. He may have the Towson's Assassin, which would take it out. And then we can play a tech. Alright, so he gets our tech, we can claim. And then next turn we can play the Towson's Assassin, the blue leader to take out the assassin. Stop him getting the force, and he can deal with those two units. Yeah, so there's lots of interesting decks, even a Boss Green one, Yoda Green Force. This was an interesting list. It had like clones and that in it. Very unique sort of way to build Yoda. Alright, so let's claim. Alright, we'll put the Deserter away. I think we start with the U-Wing. Go R2. Owen and then Akbar. Put that on bottom. We'll take out the Vader. Now this list with Thrawn, it does not run Super Laser Blast by the looks of it. Just relies on unit-based combat to defeat. So we should be able to go as wide as possible. We have a lot of removal, but not many units. Plays entrenched. I think we can afford just to fell that for now. Given that we've got arrivals and a fell, and there's a fell in the row with the tech that we'll be able to enable. It is still a long and grindy matchup, the blue-green. Especially when you're waiting on your opponent. Alright, plays turret. Alright, so we'll hit base for 7. Alright, so let's claim. We can hit base for 7 again with the O1. We could also pick up the Akbar if we wanted to. I think that seems pretty good. So tournament-wise, I have a showdown next Saturday, a showdown the following Monday, and then the PQ on that following Saturday. So next weekend, just a showdown. Midweek, just a showdown. Midweek, another showdown, and then finally the PQ. And that will be the last PQ for this set by the looks of it. Alright, let's put 1 XP on Owen so he can't get killed. Busy, yeah. It's fun though. It's not like it. Yes, it is busy, but it's a lot of fun. Okay, so we can. I think we have to fell the mall, but this Piet is going to be an issue. Right, if he attacks, I'm just going to claim just so I can get the damage in. Here, like this will move us to 2 away from taking the match. He has to kill the Bright Hope. So no Melbourne, probably not CJ. It's my son's 18th next Friday, so I doubt we'll be going down. And that I think I'll get in too much trouble if we decide to go down. Alright, so that was unfortunate. Alright, we'll give an XP to the Bright Hope. We'll hit him for 3, and that's going to force him to claim. Because if he doesn't, we can just claim and win. Okay. Alright, I can timely the turret, or I do need to kill. Let's see what we draw with Mon Mothma. Okay. The turret is a little bit of a pain. Alright, we'll take out that because we don't want him getting any more card draw there. Alright, we're done. That's probably fair. I guess an 18 somewhere is more important. Yeah, so it's my oldest hits at 18. Jacob says, hi mate, how are you feeling about new set given these spoilers? Yeah, I think the new set's looking good. Alright, let's hit for 3. There's some interesting and unique cards and that in there. I know a lot of people are down on the power levels, but I think it will be enough to sort of shape up the meta, like shake it up a bit. I think the plot will be pretty interesting. Okay, well, I think I just hit Chirrut. Then I can finally get rid of this Piet. And give the XP to Mon Mothma. So there you go. It's a bit of a grind to get out the... But yeah, I think the new set's looking good. There's some interesting cards. I think there's, you know, some of the new cards and that. There's a lot of capture cards. So I think we're gonna see a return to some of the set 2 bounties might come out again. Because, for example, you're playing this card here. Your base captures an enemy non-leader unit. If I'm playing Iden Yellow, I can play an enticing reward on a unit, play a rest for 2, capture it, and the start of the regroup phase, its owner rescues it. So when I capture it, I get 2 cards for it, and yeah, it's just all that deck needs is stall sometimes and card draw, and an enticing reward and an arrest should replace those cards each time and get you through to that super laser blast where you can wipe everything out. So I think cards like that are interesting. I think Thrawn is potentially interesting as well. You know, we've got the Cad Bane unit, which allows you to capture. This one here, because it's a choice though, your opponent's always going to do the one that's less less beneficial for you. But if you play that, they've got no units, it has to come in ready. So that's interesting as well. Yeah, and there's plenty of cards. The Spies, Governor Grand Moff Tarkin, plenty of like new heal officials, even Chancellor Valorum in a double green. Looks interesting too. Yeah, CJ saying about Bosk Yellow. Bosk Yellow was my favourite draft colours in Shadows, but it was never good in Constructed. So maybe, hopefully, that it may work with Bosk Yellow now. Alright, so we have got a Han Solo. Alright, well, let's keep. We'll start with that. I've been playing Thrawn a bit too much that I'm just looking for cards with like heavy when defeated. Alright, well, I guess we're going to take a little bit of damage. Well, maybe not. Okay, what is better here? Because we can ambush it with Blue Leader. Or next turn we can just pick it up. I don't know, it feels it's like a bit of a waste. Alright, so, well, I guess we'll take it out that way. He's base for 1. I don't think we need a rivals in this matchup. He may play a Poe here. No, he doesn't play a Poe. Alright, so we could pick up Owen. So let's hit for 1. See what our opponent does. Alright, let's pick it up. And claim. Alright, we'll hit there. Alright, let's play the Mon Mothma. Oh, we whiffed. Alright, so let's play the Owen. He might hit into the Owen here. If he does, we can spark. Well, he doesn't. He was waiting for us to ramp. right, so now we move on to 6. All right, so we want to kill Han so that he can't do a Luke out on us here. So I think we hit Han with Mon Mothma. That way we can play a blue leader. All right, we'll give the XP to Owen here. Wow, a wrecker. That was kind of unexpected. All right, so we'll claim. I guess it makes sense in the terms of him playing Cham in his list. All right, so we'll fell the wrecker. I guess we'll hit base. We have to be careful of a Luke here. Another wrecker. Wow. Okay. All right, well, we deploy Rey out. All right, let's go with that. I guess we can just drop Rey out to hit Cham. What else can we do here? We can... home one, but it's not going to bring anything back that makes a difference. So yeah, I think it just is a Luke. Alright, so let's claim. Just need to deal with this wrecker here, and I think we're good. So we go to 9. We need 10 to deal with that. I guess we just play a Luke again. To hit the wrecker there. Alright, I think we just claim. We can hit this Kanan here. Now we have, oh, okay, well that's a problem. That is a very big problem because we do not have any removal for that. Yeah, we're dead. Interesting that he put it all on the Walker. Alright, so we claim here. Well, I guess we just killed the Yoda there. We just needed one removal here. Yeah, we're done. Probably forgot what I was playing against there and should have prioritized keeping the removal for that sort of big top end there. Yeah, when a crate gets dropped and you don't have any removal, it's a sad day. Alright, so let's keep this. This seems okay. We've got the king. Alright, let's play Dispatcher. Alright, so there's no point us... He'll have to run into the Dispatcher there, so we can resupply. Or do we just claim here? Let's maybe just claim. We might be able to get something that... okay, we got a Spark. So we could alliance into a Bright Hope. That will let us draw a card. Alright, we'll claim. That'll at least block the... Space Arena for us. Alright, let's give an XP to the Bright Hope. Yep, just a GG moment. Yeah, a double crate is a bad time. Alright, so it's going to be able to kill the Bright Hope, which means we're going to be able to Spark. Maybe drop a Moisture Farmer here. Can kill it. The Masterpiece can do the 1 damage to it as well. So, alright, so let's Spark, which means we're going to get our... What is better, Moisture Farmer or Owen here? Let's drop the Owen out. Sabine will come out. Alright, so we're just a little bit away from being able to deal with that Masterpiece. Alright, let's hit base for 0. This is where you get stuck with Sabine, unfortunately. Like, this ECL just keeps you hostage for a lot of the game. Like, how can I flip my leader knowing that he has Poe or something here? I guess all I do is just put all my Moisture Farmers out. And try and delay the clock here. Because if he passes, then I just claim, and then I start with a Luke at least on the Masterpiece. Kind of at least puts him in a tough spot here. Alright, so Wing Leader. Okay, that's safe to deploy Rey now. Yeah, wow, he is really ramping up now. Alright, we'll resupply. Alright, at least we got a Bright Hope. Yeah, I guess we just hit base. The Chewbacca on the Masterpiece, just too much to handle there. Normally that's a good matchup, but just overran us. No, Poe is a 5 cost, Wrecker is a 6 cost. So you can be held hostage on your getting your leader flip out. This is not good. Like, I have nothing here to play. How many? This is the deck here. Where is it? Again, we're struggling to get the Purgle King out because we are playing a lot of matchups that are very aggressive. Alright, let's put the timely away. I think we pass here. We try and play the dispatcher out. Or we play the dispatcher out and then play Spark of Hope when he runs into it. Let's do that. That'll at least take us to 5 resources next turn. Alright, so we can Spark now. He doesn't have the... This is not a force unit, so he's not getting the force ability there. Alright, so we want to kill that Anakin. Which one do we resource here? 5, because next turn we want to really space it out. Yeah, so Poe's a 5, Wrecker's a 6. Let's claim. You really want Sabine. The Clone Desert is really good. Maybe the Dispatcher. Maybe we shouldn't have picked up the Dispatcher. Alright, so let's get rid of that Moisture Farmer there. Alright, let's get rid of the bot. Since I don't own any Poes, I am fuzzy on them. Yeah. It's a very powerful card. Poe, expensive too. Here it is here. So it's a 5 cost 6/6. When they printed this, people were like, wow, those are fantastic stats. And then just the on attack abilities. Those 3 choices is so good. Alright, let's see if he kills the R2 here. We want to try and draw this out as long as possible. If he puts a saber or something, we may have to rethink this a little bit. Out General's Blade. Alright, we'll kill that Anakin then. And then next turn we'll just claim and hit him with the Rivals Fall here. Alright, he attacks. So we can actually pop the Rey out here. Very versatile. I wonder what made them make the choice to put all that on the card. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone was a... Alright, that's fine. Bamboozle's fine. A big Poe fan, just as there appear to be a lot of Boba fans there, because the early Bobas were pretty good. Alright, so we start with the Rivals on the leader here. So this deck runs a 3. That's unfortunate that he's going to hit Rey here. Why would you not kill Rey there? 4, 6. I'm not sure why you wouldn't kill Rey there. Right, the R2 is going to be able to finish off the Obi-Wan. Alright, we'll leave that on top. Must have read the books because the movies show nothing. Yeah. There is certainly a lot of restore in the new set, which looks interesting. A lot of officials with the restore. I like cards like this. Let's call it war. 3 damage to a unit. If you have the initiative, 2 damage to another unit in the same arena. Seems pretty good. A pretty good tech card for things like Vader. Those token kind of decks. Alright, we'll kill the Mars. I'll put that on bottom. Hello Mexico says, hello, what do you think of Yoda DV with a clone and a bunch of Sentinels that won a PQ? Yeah, it looked interesting. I played a few games with it earlier on today. That list was this one here. The clone was interesting. A couple of clones. Just really trying to maximize the Yoda. I think in a certain matchups, it's really good. I don't know against the whole wide field, and kind of we're in a new meta at the moment, so obviously the person called it right and it looked pretty good, so we might play a game at the end here of that one. Alright, so let's reinforce here. We'll go Kelleran, and then we've got 5. Let's just go attack. I think this game is over now. Yeah, it looked pretty good. Looked pretty good, but it good into sort of unit-based matchups. Alright, so let's play the Purgle King. We've got the Purgle King out again, which is one of the goals here of this stream. Well, unfortunately, I'll have to run in here. Not often that you see the Purgle King out on the field. There he is there. A massive restore 4. Yeah, so it looked really good. It looked good into unit-based matchups. So there's not much space, but I like the resupply carriers. The thing with the resupply carriers, I had them in last set and a lot of decks. I had it in the Yoda deck specifically. I had that and I had the command, so that on the 6th resource I could drop them down and flip straight into the Yoda deploy, which would often surprise people. So that tech is always interesting. What else did they have in there? Yeah, the Yodas. So yeah, it looked fine. All right, so now we've got a Boba Fett here. All right, so let's keep. We'll get rid of the tech and the protectors. Yeah, I also messed around with the Thrawn that won. The Thrawn that won was a little bit different. It had chimeras in it, and it also had a resupplies, and it also ran Yoda. Yoda was the other thing, so it didn't run Spark of Hope. It ran Yoda in the list. All right, let's play the Deserter here. Alright, let's play Owen as well. So we've got 3 restore just in those 2 units there. Alright, let's get rid of the Walker. We might be able to drop a Dispatcher soon. So he's going to do 4, so we could pretty much just drop it all on the Vault and then restore at least 3 of it off. Yeah, so it was quite interesting, this deck. It seemed to be a lot more consistent in terms of, mine's a very toolbox. This is just 3s of everything all across the lot. All right, so Guess we put an XP on the deserter. And let's go for the dispatcher here. Alright, we can put the tech in the road because we can always just bring it out. Let's take it all on base here. I don't know why he didn't just trade into the dispatcher there. We're starting to build up quite a bit of health. Alright, that's fine. Okay. Alright, a spark. A spark seems pretty good. But we're going to see a Boba come out, and we do not have enough resources for the rivals yet. Wow, that was interesting. Oh, we still can't do it. Alright, let's give an XP to the deserter. Let's kill this droid here. Give us a little bit of restore. Alright, let's deploy Rey. We'll hit him for 7. Alright, we've got the reinforcement walker 2 now. If he hits us with a barrage, we can rivals fall the TIE fighter here, the TIE bomber. Okay, we can... Let's start there. Alright, we'll hit base and give some experience out. Hey mate, not too tired from all that prime commentating? Well, I only did the top cut. So, yes, not too tired on that one. Alright, let's just get rid of the Fang Fighter there. Yeah, no, it was a interesting final series. Sabine taking it out in Perth. Luke getting his 4th consecutive PQ title as well, which is a big achievement. We are restoring a lot, considering he's had his leader out since, you know, for a couple of terms here. Like, Yes, our final in Perth was Sabine ECL versus Pilot Luke ECL. So it was kind of like a ECL mirror match, but Sabine definitely had the advantage. Yes, it was unstoppable in that final. A bit of friendly fire in the BDST team. Blake and Luke playing against each other in the top 8. Then Luke and Thibaut in the top 4. Yeah, so that should be enough. We've got 9 on board. Alright, so we moved to 5-2. Too much restore here for this Boba. Alright, Towson Green Force here. Alright, let's keep that. We've got some things to play with. Resource our top end, which is the Ewing and the Owen. For Australia, we have 2 PQs left. 1 in Melbourne, 1 in Sydney over the next 2 weeks. And then we can start looking at the new set. My plan is 1 month out from the new set launching, I'll primarily just be doing the new cards, playing on the preview mode on Carabast, and trying to build some decks using some of these new cards. Alright, let's pass. We'll put the tech away. We can play either Obi-Wan here, or we can play an R2. Yeah, it sucks that, yeah, you'll miss both Gun 3D. I'll try and get to way more next set. It's not great. Alright, guess we're playing Obi-Wan. It's going to be able to just take it straight out. Alright, let's just claim. Again, he's going to be able to just take it straight out. But I want to give an XP here to block it, stop Tyrannus just coming in. And then potentially we can Akbar a couple damage off Karis and then run Owen in here. Yeah, need to get them points. You've only got 25 in the bag. Exactly. What Clint's got 35, you got 25. James got 50. Alright. Let's hit Karis for another 2. Alright, I think we just claim here. Probably don't need a second rivals, or is it the R2? Fortunately, we didn't get any ramp on this matchup, so we're going to be faced with Towson coming out here. Alright, we'll put the R2 out. We'll put... I think we could bounce here. We could bounce the Bright Hope, but use the Bright Hope to bounce R2. Yeah, so we didn't even get to that spot. Alright, so what can we do here? We can play Obi-Wan, but he's just going to be able to reduce attack. We could just play a tech out here. Alright, we'll claim. So a lot of momentum that the Towson gets thanks to these kind of mid-range units here. Alright, so all rivals. We've got the Purgle King, we've got some Lukes, but we just need to get one or two of them out. Alright, pass again. He's got 6 resources. We've already spent ours. So if he's just going to pass and claim, we're okay with that. He hasn't done anything more. Okay, here comes the... Yeah, so now we're fine because we can deploy. We can then take out the assassin. He'll kill it next turn, but at least we can retaliate with Luke. But he's going to get a lot of cards thanks to this Daguerrean Master with the when played and when defeated. Alright, well, we have to hit that again. So all things fade, managed to completely stimmy Towson early game, but dropped the dash ruined me late game. Alright, here comes Vader. That's not good. Alright, we'll claim. We need a fell or something like that here. We didn't get a fell. Alright, let's see what we get out of the reinforcement. Not good either. We need an Akbar here. Let's return the farmer, see what we get. To get a fell now. But we could potentially take a lot of damage here. Alright, we'll drop the farmer out. Oh, he's going to play another one. That's got to be a mistake, right? Yeah. Kind of wasted a Darth Tyrannus copy then. There's no undo on this, so like when you make a mistake like that, it's like, I didn't mean to do that, and yeah. Alright, so I think we fell. First the Vader. And then we can blue leader one of these. It will die to Towson afterwards. But it will save us a little bit of health. Be nice if we pick a Timely up. I don't think we've seen one yet. Timely on the Walker is something that was added into this deck. This isn't my deck, this is Ysera's deck, and let's have a look at it. It's got how many Timelies? I think it's got 2. No, only one Timely. Alright, so let's restore. I think we have to run in with the Moisture Farmer and then play the Luke out. Which doesn't really give us too much to play with here. Another Vader, and I think we're cooked. Okay, that's fine. That's fine as well. No timelies yet. Very close to losing here. Alright, so let's play the protector. Let's discard that. That way, if he kills the protector here, then we can at least run in and kill one of these things. Alright, let's claim here. We want to kill this Daft Tyrannus. Alright, I really want to keep that, but we're too close to dying here. Alright, so, okay. Well, we can go home 1, then village protectors. Alright, we might be back in business now. This does not have a saboteur. Caloran being able to hit a home 1, which then hit a return a village protector back. Alright, let's claim. Caloran calling in some favors there. Yeah, it was pretty clutch. Not gonna lie, that was clutch. Alright, Caloran will take it 8th, brother. Is this a game where we can get the Purple King out? I think we have to Luke something here. But we are getting close to Purple King territory. Alright, barrage, that's fine. We can Luke the Tyrannus here. We've got a tech in the row, so we can bring the tech out. Alright, he's going to claim. Yep. Alright, I'll bring the tech out. Give it 1 XP. Alright, here comes more. Alright, we're okay with that. Again, we'll hit the assassin. We want to put out a couple of units so that we can Akbar for 3 on the mall. Luke at the moment is restoring for 4 on each hit. Put that on bottom. Akbar. And now we get the Purple King. Alright, looking pretty good now. The Purple King is restoring for 5. Thanks to the home 1 buff. Never had the Purple King out on Boba 4, but it seems like it would be really good to have something that could soak up that amount of damage. Alright, here comes the Devastator. Okay, look at this. The Purgle can tank the Devastator. And restore 4. Alright, nothing in the row. Alright, let's hit for 2. Put that on bottom. Hit that turnaround. Exactly. Having a whale of a time. Yeah, it's this is probably the first time that our Purple King has done anything. All right, so we want 5. Let's just go protectors. XP there, and we'll go dispatcher. Law accurate Purgle. Yeah, just swallowed the Devastator there. Just crazy. Being able to hit a Devastator and survive. What do we got? Yeah. Alright, 6-2. 2 more games to go. Now here's a deck that you don't see very often. A double red IG. Not even Tarkentown. Alright, let's keep. I don't think I need the dispatcher. I'm going to go the deserters here. Somewhere Thrawn is having a nosebleed. Alright, we'll give an XP to the deserter here. Probably could have also went, when I seen him play that, I probably could have went Moisture Farmer. Alright, we can put the tech away here. So it is going to be able to hit the Clone Deserter and draw a card. But there's not much we can do about that. Because the IG player has more units. He just chooses not to do that. Alright, so let's go the Moisture Farmer. And then also Clone Deserter, and we can put an XP on that Moisture Farmer. Alright. Let's put the Purgle King away. To think he could have just swung with Daft Tyrannus instead of going for the Constructed Saber. He may have got there. Alright, when does IG come out? I think it comes out at 5, and it's a 5-4. Alright, I think we go Dispatcher and also Obi-Wan here. Or do we just put the XP on the... And we play the Obi-Wan next turn because it's guaranteed Sentinel then. Imperial theme IG, that's fun, yeah. Yeah, it's hidden, but we are restoring for 4 at the moment. And hitting for just as much as he is. Okay. Alright, let's hit the Insurgent here. Alright, let's hit base. We'll keep pushing. IG will come out. We'll put Obi-Wan out for 2. Using the Dispatcher. And that will allow us to also Spark of Hope here. Okay. Well, let's put on the Dispatcher there. Alright, he's going to just claim. He won't need the Spark anymore. I just find it interesting, like, we can just keep pushing for a whole heap of damage here while restoring. Alright, we're just going to out aggro him, I think, here. Because we're aggroing, but also healing at the same time. We rivals his leader. Third sister, seventh sister will be able to hit base and then do 3 damage, but I have plenty of units. Alright, there we go. We moved to 7-2. This is the final game. The final boss is a Obi blue-green. The Purple King has made an appearance, I think, 3 times across the games. Is this any good? Like, we really don't have too much there. So that's mulligan. Alright, let's stick with that. We won't put the tech in the row just in case we don't have a turn to play. So that's why we leave it out for now. We can always resource it next turn. So this is the Return of the King stream. We are trying to play the Purple King as many times as we can. Having said that, we are hitting a lot of aggressive style decks. Alright, let's play Protectors. Alright, let's claim. Alright, we don't need the Deserter. Alright, let's give an XP to Protectors. That'll make sure that Obi-Wan runs into it. We can then play a Spark. Next challenge is to pull a Purgle out of Kelleran's Wizard Sleeve. That's a challenge, that one. Alright, let's just Spark of Hope. I'll take this to 5. Well, that's interesting that he decided to pull that unit back. Alright, the Purple King. Could be a reality this game. I think we just play Village Protectors, buff it up, and use that as a shield so that we can get Rey out. Alright, let's give an experience to the Protectors. Alright. Okay, we're waiting on him to decide what he wants to do here. Has a few units out. It's annoying that he does have the Obi-Wan Sentinel, but let's do some healing. And then claim. Alright, let's claim for that. Alright, so do we want Fells or Rivals? I think we just want Fells, because if I run into Obi-Wan here, we won't need Fells anymore. Alright, we'll take Luke. Rey Green, love to see it, Julian says. Yep, we are playing a bit of a challenge. We're trying to see how many times we can play the Purple King. Alright, let's claim. Wow, we got Walker, we got Purple King, we got Home 1. Well, we did say how many times we can play the Purple King, so let's take it over Anything else? See, yeah. So we will get to draw a card here. It might be very difficult for the Obi-Wan player to deal with too. Okay, well, he plays the Luke. I think we need to play it so that we can get the village protectors to provide a bit of cover. Go back to a Julia. None of this villain stuff. I think Julian's locked in for some blue-green villainy at Penrith. Let's see if it's Iden or Thrawn or something new. Wow, we are getting some great cards. Alright. Do we Purgle King here? Or do we Caloran? Or do we just fell this? I think we Caloran and try and get a blue leader. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, Rey was heaps of fun. I do miss it. Yeah, it's a fun deck, Rey. Turning your small units into bigger units, and then just getting this top end of like these big units and that running around. All right, let's just hit base. If he hits the protectors, we just claim. But yeah, blue-green villainy for me. Unsure what I'll land on at the moment. Yeah, well, a Thrawn Green did win a PQ over the weekend, yesterday. The deck list was a little bit different to mine, but not too much. It ran Chimeras, and yeah, it looked really good. Alright, so let's kill that Luke. Got to get this Purgle King out. Let's get him out. Draw 2 cards. There we go. Let's see our mate hit the Purgle King. What Tambor blue. So there was a What Tambor on stream today for the Perth PQ. I think it won the first game, but then lost the next 2. But it was a very interesting deck. Alright, so we can kill the Chirrut. Love the Chimera. Yeah, so check it out. It's on Swoo Competitive Hub. This is it here. It's just 3 of everything, so it's a very sort of consistent deck. It also used Yoda rather than Spark of Hope for the ramp enabler. Alright, let's just claim here. Alright, our Caloran can swap for his Caloran. Oh yeah, he ran into it. Alright, let's just nuke his Caloran there. Alright, let's go 7. Let's just play a tech here. Give him something to run into. Alright, pass. Alright, we do have another Purgle King. Let's play Mon Mothma. Home 1's good. Bring Luke out again. And we can also Akbar this Ethkos, especially now he's used the Force. Alright. After all these hits against each other, we still haven't, we're still at 0 and 1 health, virtually 0. So it's crazy. I have 8 restore on board. This Purgle King, he must be like a 50-cent rare. I can't imagine you're too happy seeing this guy constantly getting pulled out of boxes. Alright, so let's hit base. Alright, so we can, I think, home one again. Keller and back. We could go Bright Hope, pick up Mon. We can just hit into the Bright Hope there. Alright, let's claim. Chirrut will send Kelleran back in. So Kelleran will, and 7 and above is fine even if they've got the force on a Chirrut. Pretty good spot, I think, here. All thanks to the Purgle King coming out. We do have some removal, but we're not fearing Crate Dragons in this list. It's probably the closest we'll get. Alright, let's hit 6 there. 6 for base. Because I imagine our Itinerant Warrior is going to run into Luke. Shame you don't have a lightsaber to put on the king. Exactly. I think that's what I... That's got to be the next one. Need a lightsaber for the king. Alright. Need to get rid of this Yoda. That was a mistake by me, not getting rid of the Yoda earlier. Let's get the Purgle King. Alright, let's just nuke that Yoda. Alright, pass. We can put tech into the row. Do we know if Lucas mentioned if he's heading over to Worlds? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. He didn't really state, I don't think. Alright, so that's Purple King. For a massive heal. We heal for 5. Well, Ewing into Luke is not bad. And we've still got the Purple King in our hand. Alright, we do have a blue leader to run in. Yeah, we can run in a blue leader there. Alright, we'll pass. It's already dead. We don't want to pay the experience. Alright, let's go tech. Give an experience to Mon. Alright, one step closer. Alright, there we go. So we finish off with Rey, 8-2. Not a bad effort. I'll play one game of Yoda and then I'll have to jump off. But I'll be back tomorrow for some more games. So Yoda, this was one of the PQ winning lists from the weekend. It runs a couple of clones and 3 Yodas. So it's really focused on getting that out. So let's give it a go before I have to jump off. But 8-2 with Rey, it's respectable. Respectable effort. The link for the deck list is in the description. Okay, let's just go with that. Do we need... Alright, let's just keep to the curve here. He's going to remove a lot of my cards. Alright, let's play the Yaddle out. Alright, let's claim we can run into the Pershing to start with. Alright, we'll get the force. When the Shadows cards were spoiled, we had a bit of a on the Facebook groups for Australia. We had a bit of a conversation about what was your favourite card coming, and the Dr. Pershing was my favourite. I thought it was a great card, great design, and it really helped out specific decks. Alright, so I can probably rotate around. Let's put the home one on bottom because we may be able to get it out a Luke here. Let's go to Lothwolf rather than the ramp. No, ramp was actually more correct there, because if I had played the ramp, I would have. No, I'm not playing Rey. Actually, I've got to get two more. Alright, I think I can play Luke out here. Alright, we got clone. But it costs 7, so we have to wait one more turn for that one. In the meantime, we can play some Yoda's lightsabers on these smaller Jedis here. So you don't see much Kylo Tarkin more now that the Force Show's gone. Kind of been replaced by these Data style decks. Alright, plays Maul, does nothing. Alright, let's push. He claims, so we'll vanquish it. Roll the dice. We'll put Lothwolf on bottom. Alright, we'll pass. Okay, we don't need another Yaddle at all. I've got him to 18, but we could expect a Super Laser Blast here. Alright, Rivals is really good. Let's put the clone on the bottom. Alright, we'll pass. Alright, resource the blue leader there. Would like some card draw. Liam says, I'd like to liking that new Naboo royal ship for Yoda. Pop him out and have a defeat a unit and claim the raid 2 and overwhelm. Seems pretty good. Alright, let's... No, before we do that... Alright, home 1 is good. Alright, let's put that on bottom. Alright, well, there's the Yoda. But we are a little bit away from that at the moment. We need some more units down here. We've lost both rivals. I don't think I'm playing this right. Just got to keep pushing. Here comes Vader. Not great. I don't know why it took him so long to run that play. Alright, Kelleran's good. We can play something out for 5. Alright, that's... Wow, we are in big trouble. We did not get a removal card for that Devastator. Alright, we haven't flipped Yoda yet. I don't know what I'm doing here. Let's flip Yoda. So yeah, this deck is good, but I don't really like it into the villainy matchups. I don't know if it's good enough. It's good in certain matchups. These upgrades are unique. Yeah, OB incoming, close enough. Craving Power, which is the replacement for OB. I don't think we'll see a card like OB again. Alright, let's claim we need removal, or we're cooked here. We had plenty of cards in hand, but yeah, this one's gotten away from us, I think. Yeah, that's it. Alright. So, yeah, the decks, we didn't really get to showcase it, but that's the deck there. You meant to try and get to the Yoda flip, clones, and that as well, but we just got everything removed in that last game. Alright, well, that will do it for tonight. I am quite tired after casting for a bit and playing some games tonight. I'll be back tomorrow, and tomorrow we will play some Thrawn Data Vault, get some practice in. I've got a showdown on the weekend, so I need to lock into a deck and go from there. The Rey Data Vault is in the description. We went A2 with that. It's running the King, the Purgle King. You could probably swap them out for Traitorous or Unchanged if you wanted to. They are for a slower type meta.